Hi everyone, I wanted to talk today about Little Leaps and Sounds, Adam Larson's new jazz etude book, which is a book of 12 intermediate jazz etudes that I had the fortune to record the concert backing tracks for, and I also did a guitar tab version of it. What I wanted to do today was walk you through how you can apply the material in this book to your own playing, and how you can use it to enhance your own jazz vocabulary. Rather than just playing through these etudes, when you get the book, I want to show you how you can really digest this information and use it to take your playing to the next level. The steps that I'm going to outline today are the same steps that I would take if I were trying to get the most out of etudes like these or material that I transcribed from a solo. So the things that I do with this material is really the same, whether it's something from Adam's book or someone else's educational material, or whether it's a line from a great solo by Grant Green or Sonny Rollins or anyone like that. The first step is to find a lick in the etude or the solo that is a sound that you really want to get into your own playing. It should be something that really stands out to you and speaks to you and grabs your attention and makes you want to transcribe it and figure it out. For this, I'm going to be using the 2-5 going into the 4 chord in the first 8 bars of Chairs and Keys, which is an etude out of Adam's book that's based on the changes to the jazz standard Cherokee. Here I am playing it with the backing track from the book. So once you find something like this, learn it on the instrument and analyze not only how it's physically played, but also how it's musically put together. So this phrase begins with a half-step approach into the 3rd of the 2 chord. And what I'm doing here is I'm playing this with kind of a special fingering because it kind of poses a unique fingering challenge because we go from this A flat down to that E flat. And in the heat of the moment, it's going to be kind of hard for me to bar that like that. So what I do is I go index to 3rd, and then I go middle down there. So these first few beats I play. Okay. And what that is there is we're doing a chromatic approach into the 3rd of the 2 chord. Okay, so the 2 chord of this 2-5 is F minor. And we're going a half step into that. And then we're enclosing the root of that 2 chord, which is right there. Okay, so. And then we're descending down the bebop scale and getting to the sharp 5 of that B flat dominant. Okay, so the bebop scale at hand here is going to be B flat Mixolydian bebop, okay, because this is a 2-5 on the key of E flat, F minor 7 to B flat 7. So when we hit that B flat at the downbeat of measure of the 2nd bar of the line, we just descend down through that bebop passing tone until we get to that sharp 5. And then we jump up to the 3rd of that dominant chord, and then we chromatically enclose the 5th of the 1 chord. Okay, so again, that whole line is. Okay, so chromatic approach to the 3rd, and then enclosure of the root, and then scale line to the sharp 5, and then jump up to the 3rd of the 5 chord, and then enclose the 5th of that chord right there. Now, typically, the next step for most instrumentalists would be to take this lick around in all 12 keys. However, on the guitar, every key can feel the same physically. If you use the same position to play a line, you go up a half step, there's nothing about it that feels differently, whereas on every other instrument, it's going to feel differently, So kind of the guitar version of playing things in different keys, not to say that we shouldn't play things in different keys, but the guitar version of that is to play the thing in the same key but in different positions, because that's going to feel differently. So the next step, after I really analyze this both physically and musically, is to take this and play it in some different positions. Okay, so this would be how we would play this off of the 2nd string, this idea. Okay, so here the same Musically, the same thing is happening. Okay, we start with that chromatic approach, and then we hit that root, and then we go down the scale. Now notice here how I'm doing a stretch from my pinky to my ring there. Kind of shift down a bit, and then I switch strings here. Okay, so that's starting from the second string. Now we could also start it from the third string. We'd have to go way up here if we don't want to use any open strings. And actually I'm going to use a different fingering for this. I'm going to use the same fingering that I use down here. I'm going to go, okay, so, and that kind of feels like it did on the previous string set. Okay. Okay, so on this top string set we have and then here, and then here, now once I can play it in at least a couple positions, and there I just played it in 3 different positions, that's when I like to take it around the cycle. Okay, so I like to take it around, play it in the key of C, so D minor 7, G7, C, and then the key of F, G minor 7, C7, F major. And the way I do that is by bouncing back and forth between 2 different fingerings. So if I were to play this in the key of C, let me just start here on the 3rd string. I'm going to go, okay, and that is covering this 2-5 in C major. And then I'm just going to go up a 4th, and I'm going to play it thinking of these voicings in the key of F. So now I'm going to play it off the 2nd string. Okay, and then I'm going to bounce back to that initial starting string. So now we're in the key of B flat, and I'm going to start it off the 3rd string again. Okay, so let me take that through a few different keys and show you how I practice that. So that's a brief explanation of physically and musically how I analyze something that I extract from an etude or a solo transcription, and just start getting the nuts and bolts together of moving it around the guitar neck in different positions and playing through different keys. Stay tuned. In the second part of this series on breaking down these etudes, I'm going to show you how you can dive a little bit deeper into these and start kind of contracting them, expanding them, getting into them, getting out of them, putting them over different chord progressions to really take these further.